Welcome to MGO Bucks. It is the day before the big day of college football launch. I guess this week would be week one, but my gosh, Matt, this is awesome. We're getting probably the best game we've ever, the biggest game in the history of college football at this point between number one and number two. I think you're even thinking about actually leaving Maryland and going to see this game. Are you excited for this?
Yeah, it's weird. The good thing about being busy with work is it makes the lead up go a lot faster. Because normally in the past, when I have big games, you're just like spending so much time every day worrying and focusing about the game, and then I was just so busy all week that I haven't really even had much time to think about it. So I'm just like, I can't believe football is finally here. I mean, we had fake football last week. Week zero, not real games. Iowa State and Kansas State. I think
Yeah.
Auburn is like destroying Baylor right now. Sort
I
of,
haven't even turned that on.
sort of
Need to watch
football,
it.
but not really. Wisconsin and
Mhm.
struggling, and Nebraska struggling, and the Big Ten looking bad. But I noticed a lot of SEC media types were making fun of the middle to bottom tier of the Big Ten yesterday.
They
But we
didn't
haven't
look good.
but we haven't seen what the middle to bottom tier of the SEC is going to be doing, because if you recall last year, uh, Vanderbilt was losing to you know FCS teams and then beating Alabama, and everyone in the SEC was losing terrible games last year. So we'll see. I know the top of the Big Ten is going to be really good. The middle and bottom remains to be seen, but the SEC is. I just don't see how they're going to even come close to keeping up with the ranks that they have right now. I mean, they put everyone, like the whole SEC pretty much is ranked. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like every year they forget how bad, Tennessee and like all these other teams are just way overranked. LSU, it doesn't matter how many times they lose 4 or 5 games in a year. They're like, oh, that's fine. They look like a top 10 team next year. Doesn't matter. They
Yeah.
just like completely ignore what they did the previous year.
They are living a little bit on former glories, I think, who keep overranking them. I mean, it's always been that way for Notre Dame. Notre Dame has always been overranked, but except like really until recently, they actually lived up to it last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny.
But I
This is like the first time that I haven't disliked Notre Dame. Obviously,
That's
I'm not
because
going
we
to.
don't hate their coach.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not even always the coach. Like I've always hated Notre Dame, with a passion, but I don't hate their coach anymore, and I actually kind of like him. So
Yeah, because he's not an asshole.
yeah, and
A
he's
lot
even
of
a former
coaches.
Buckeye. I don't get it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, see, I take that aside because there's plenty of Michigan people that are in the media that I actually not dislike, but actually like. I would say Charles Woodson and Jake Butt are both excellent at their
Yeah,
jobs, whereas you have someone like Portnoy, who's a joke, and then we have, of course, Desmond Howard, who's just the biggest moron alive. I have no idea how that guy has a job. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. He's just so stupid.
hey, I think that Portnoy claims he's still saying that it was the Buckeyes that actually
Yeah.
banned him.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even
Him
matter
and his
because
whole crew, even
we'll,
his whole
we'll
crew who argue with him,
we will
and their
find
Buckeye
out.
guy said
We'll
that
find out in
he
like
was banned
one
by
week,
Buckeyes.
right? Because if he's banned at the other games, then Ross Bjork was telling the truth. And if he was only banned at Ohio State, then he was lying. So we'll find out in a week.
Hmm. Yeah, it's true. But
I mean, I think if it was just being banned at Ohio State, that's really weak. But we'll see. We'll see what actually
I
happens.
suppose. So let's talk about Julian Sayin because I'm a little scared for the guy. And again,
Yeah.
I've said that I'm totally judging a
I
book
mean,
by
it's
its cover.
the whole game comes down to him, basically.
It does, but I'm judging a book by its cover. But the guy just looks so like the baby face kind of makes him look weak, and his stature is kind of small. He's got a scared look on his face. It's not the dude is like a 5-star quarterback. He was the number one quarterback in his class, so I know he can play football. But I can't get over the cover of that book, um, and it's gonna be interesting to see him go up against the Texas defensive line. It's going to be
their whole
interesting for
defense.
him.
It's not
And
just their line. Their
yeah,
whole defense.
I think it's their
I mean,
line though. That's
they
like
they might
super
be.
freak.
Well, no, they lost. They lost most of their defensive line to the draft. They got some transfers in. They're supposed to be good, but that still remains to be seen. Whereas, like their linebackers and their secondary, aside from their star corner who won the Thorpe Award, um, they have a lot back on the back seven, and then they have a lot of transfers, obviously, in the defensive line. So I think that this is going to be a top 5 defense in the country by the end of the year, maybe
Yeah,
number 1. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Everyone that doesn't actually understand football is probably going to assume it's going to be high-scoring because of Arch Manning and because of Jeremiah Smith and all the stars. But the people that really know ball know this is going to be a low-scoring game. Usually early games are low-scoring anyway, but when you combine the fact that these two defenses are both nasty.
yeah, and the
And
offenses just
yeah,
haven't caught up to the defenses yet.
yeah.
Like that's just so typical. I mean, that's kind of a cliche, but yeah, those offenses just haven't caught up. Plus, you've got what? Ohio State has a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive line coach, new defensive
Well, the good
coordinator.
thing is we have
So
three
much
offense.
trash.
We actually have 3 offensive line coaches because of unlimited coaches now. So we have 3 full-time offensive line coaches, which is
Yeah,
pretty nice.
yeah. Like I guess, but in
No,
that
like
case, all schools
they
do.
just had a big story on it the other day of like how ridiculous it was that Ohio State has 3 like legit offensive line coaches. That's
Yeah,
just
and
unbelievable.
speaking of their line, Ohio State's line, are you a little weirded out that what is his name, Austin Searveld,
Austin Searveld? No, he's just a
actually
stud.
got? But wasn't there okay? But listen to
Yeah,
this. There was a stud transfer that came
yeah,
in, like a super stud transfer
yeah.
that came in. But he's not like I forget the guy's name. So you're gonna have to help me out. But all of a sudden, did Austin Searveld play at guard? Is he like right guard or something last year?
Yeah, like that's the thing with our line. Like all those guys are really versatile and have pretty much been forced to play every position just because of all the injuries we've had. So he's pretty much played everywhere.
But isn't it
And
weird though that
aside
he
from
was
tackle, yeah,
the right
no, no,
guard,
no
went to
one,
left
yeah,
tackle?
no one thought he was the favorite probably to be right tackle, and then he ended up getting moved to left
That would
tackle
make more
because
sense. He went
yeah,
to left tackle, and then the transfer that came in that was a superstar stud is
it's
now
supposed
not
to be
even
left
starting.
tackle. Yeah, well, it's
Was that
because the
a
other because the
misevaluation?
no, no, we got 2 transfers at offensive line at both the tackle. And so the right tackle, who wasn't supposed to be as good as him, and he was considered to be coming in like maybe the 6th man, and now he looks like he's going to be starting at right tackle, and then Enoch is going to be the 6th man for now. So I think what is it? Daniels, I think, is the starter right tackle now. So yeah, everyone just been raving about him. But I mean, that's a good problem to have. Like having like we haven't had this
I
much depth.
guess if you can look at it that way.
We
I
haven't had
mean,
this much
I
depth.
think it's a little weird, honestly. I
Do you
think that
remember? Do you remember when we were talking about offensive line last year? At the beginning of the year, I
last
said
year, I
like,
think it was a disaster last year.
yeah, before the season started, I said,
No, I'm thinking 2 years ago it was a disaster.
yeah, no,
Last year
before
it
the
wasn't.
season started last year, I said this team is loaded, but the only weakness that we have is yes. Oh my god.
Do they not know you're live?
The only thing that I was concerned about was offensive line depth, and that's what happened. Luckily, we had multiple guys step up, but like we had good starters, but we were concerned about the depth. Whereas this year, we don't have any concern about any starter on the team other than quarterback, and then is there depth at defensive tackle? That's it. Like it's just loaded everywhere else. And it's not like the quarterback isn't. That's why people aren't as concerned about this game. Like obviously, I really want to win because no one wants to lose a game, especially a big, exciting game like this. But the main thing is to be good enough to get to the playoffs and peak at the right time, like we did last year.
We are gonna have to do a call-in show. We'll have to try that format sometime. Brian is saying he needs to debate Matt. Yeah, Matt's got a voice, and
maybe somebody can do a better job than Nate.
maybe, but I'm still a little weirded out about that big change. I mean, your superstar transfer stud left tackle is now not even playing. He's not even starting. And you moved a right guard to left tackle, not right tackle to left tackle. And then another guy who wasn't starting is now like, it doesn't make sense. What is the guy's name that
Josh,
lost his job?
the guy who lost it's Enoch, I think. What is this? Let me see what the guy's name was. 1 second.
I know it's not an easy one.
It was hard to pronounce. 1 second.
But in any case, I mean, you would think he would switch to right tackle in that case. If he loses his job at left tackle,
yeah, well, the other guy did.
And he would go to right. That seems like the natural thing. I mean, it's very odd. It almost feels like a kind of like a misevaluation almost, or maybe not a bust, but maybe he didn't come in and he didn't. I mean, if he couldn't keep that job, maybe he wasn't as good as they thought he was. They obviously paid him a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And now he's not even starting, but I don't know I'm not sure how old he is.
I mean, I think he was a junior, so I think he's a senior this year.
Yeah, that's a guy with a lot of experience.
Yeah. I mean, but he was coming from a smaller school, so the evaluations are still going to be a little bit off, either way. But yeah, what is it? It's Ethan Onyanwa is the guy who's now, and Philip Daniels is the guy who beat him out. So
yeah, Antoine's right. It does. Julie, he called him Julie. Yeah, it does. He does have a small stature back there. I mean, he could be Drew Brees.
I mean, he's not as small as. I mean, he's like 6'1", so he's not that short. Like Bryce Young was what, 5'11"?
I don't think he's 6'1".
Yeah.
He didn't look 6'1" back there.
We'll find out when he goes. 6'1".
We'll find out when he's.
It's not that short for a quarterback.
No, that's not. The 6'1" is not. He looks more 5'11".
I think the bigger issue is he's probably only like 205, maybe 210 if he's lucky.
Yeah, that's an issue, and that we haven't seen him like actually even do anything against any teams. Like, why don't backup quarterbacks at Ohio State seem to ever get any playing time? Like,
that's one of the biggest problems I have with Ryan Day. He never gives the backups any like real reps. Like he had like 12 or 15 throws the whole season. That's like ridiculous.
There were plenty of blowouts.
I mean, I understand he was the third string, but still, like I think towards the end of the year, I think he moved up to second string. But like, there's no excuse to have 12 reps for this season. Like we played plenty of bad teams where we were winning big. There's no, and that's the thing that always upsets me when you play against a bad team, and then you get the backups in there and you just run the ball because you don't want to run up the score. But like the backups need reps. The quarterback needs reps.
So let's do a round real quick on Ohio State versus Texas and position groups where we think that who holds the advantage there. So quarterback, we'll start at quarterback. Texas or Ohio State?
Arch has
a position group. Which one would you pick?
Arch has a slight advantage because he has a little bit of playing time and he has an extra year in the system. So he has the advantage.
He has the advantage. All right. I'm going to keep track of this. No. So at quarterback, Arch. So what about running back?
Let's see. It's so hard to tell.
And I agree, Arch.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell with running backs because I mean we've heard rave reviews about the guys, and you know, like we saw a little bit from them last year, right? So like there was not that much out of what's his face, James Peoples. You know, he had like probably about 5.5 yards a carry or something, and looked really explosive. But he's a third string running back. He's not going to get a ton of carries. And he looks jacked this year. He's like the opposite of Sayin. This guy is jacked. And then we have also the transfer from West Virginia, C.J. Donaldson. I can't tell for sure if he's going to be 50-50 running the ball or if it's going to be more him just a goal line back. So again, hard to even tell what it's going to look like. After last year, hopefully they'll just do the 50-50 split, because that was great at keeping both running backs fresh last year, because that was Travion's big problem. He had a breakout freshman year, and then he kept getting hurt because he, for whatever reason, couldn't handle a full load as a starter. But you split those reps with Judkins, and then all of a sudden both of them were completely fresh the whole year. No one gets hurt, and it's amazing. So I'm sure they're going to be good, mostly just because at Ohio State, especially if your offensive line is talented and everyone's worried about your receivers, it's almost impossible for them to have a bad game. Even if they're average with that line and those receivers, no one's going to be paying attention to the running backs. So I think that they're going to have pretty good numbers. I think Texas probably has a slight advantage on the running backs. I don't necessarily think that they're going to outrun us.
Well, they definitely have an advantage, because I think Wisner
with the running backs, yes,
with running backs,
but not in the rushing yardage. Like, I think Ohio State's going to outrun them with the running backs. Now, I think Arch is probably going to get some yards, so they might beat us overall in rushing because of Arch, but I don't think that their running backs are going to get more than our running backs, just because of our offensive line, and they have some injury issues going on. Like, so they lost their stud tackles, both of them. And
they got some problems.
And their top backup tackle is out for the year, and their starting left tackle had to have wrist or hand surgery and has a big cast on his hand, so he can't hold like he normally does.
Very true.
So even if that aside, just having two new starters to tackle for them would have been rough. And against, I think our starters, people that aren't paying attention, our starters at defensive line are going to be really solid, and our backup defensive ends are going to be solid. It's just, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the backup defensive tackles, but maybe we're going to run.
Hey, we're going to get to that. We're on running back.
Maybe we'll run some more, 3-4s or rushman packages. So
running backs.
Do, but we'll give them if we're just talking about just the running backs and nothing else, I think they're going to be better.
They're going to be better
to start the season, yeah.
Just because they have more starting experience and probably
more
talent even at this point.
Yeah, we just don't really know.
You don't know.
We haven't seen them at all. Yeah.
True. All right. And so running backs, tight end, I don't really know. Let's just lump tight ends with receivers and just call that Ohio State basically owning that position. Not really competition. Although what is it? Ryan Wingo, is that his name for Texas? That guy could turn into a superstar this year. So he's gonna have a big stage to do that.
It's funny you brought that up. I was just reading something from some Texas fan made a post on Twitter earlier, and he was saying how Ryan Wingo is their Jeremiah Smith. He just hasn't had a chance to put it all together yet, or some nonsense.
Maybe.
The dude had 27 receptions last year. Not saying he's not talented, but come on, you can't just compare your number one receiver to the best receiver in the country. It's just stupid. It just makes you look stupid.
It is.
And it doesn't mean he's not going to have a big day tomorrow.
There's going to be a head-to-head.
It means it's a ridiculous comparison, and our secondary is a strength. So it's all going to come down to, basically, is our defense going to be able to stop the run? I'm not too worried about the pass.
All right. So let's go to defensive line. Probably giving that to Texas, I imagine, because Texas, with their transfers.
Well, it depends. Are we going to do the whole unit or just the starting?
I haven't seen what Ohio State's even going to do on defense.
I think the starting unit, I think ours is going to be better. I think their overall unit's definitely better because they have a ton of depth there. But first game of the season, the depth most likely is not going to come into play nearly as much. Throughout the season, yes. So when we see them again in the playoffs, that defensive line is going to be better because they probably have a lot more depth. If we have any injuries at all throughout the year, then we're likely screwed. Whereas they spent millions of dollars getting all these transfers to come in just to play backup. So
I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree on that one. I think Texas has a better defensive line at this point. I mean, we don't even know what Ohio State really has, and they've got Matt Patricia. He's going to be good defensive coordinator, Patricia, I'm sure. But
we got a transfer too. Don't forget,
everything's new. But I mean, Larry Johnson's still there, so Yeah.
I mean, so first of all, let me just push back a little bit. So Edric Houston's a 5-star. Caden McDonald was one of the best run stuffers on our team last year, the number one run stuffer. So the only question with him is, can he play enough snaps to be, worth like a top, number one pick? Like could easily work himself into the first round. Like out of everyone on our defense besides Downs, I think Caden McDonald has the highest likelihood of being a first round pick. And,
Yeah,
and,
but
I would say Edric would probably be right behind him. And then
I've seen
Kenyatta
Ohio State's
Jackson's got a lot of
5-star
hype.
defensive linemen in the past, and it hasn't turned out super good. You had two of them that are obviously good last year in the playoffs, but they weren't good except until they were seniors, basically,
Yeah.
and at the end of the year. So
yeah, but
we're not
Kenyatta,
dominant anyway.
I'm saying that
Edric
he
Houston's
was Kenyatta was
jury's
good
out.
last year. That's the thing, though. Like I'm saying, like it's not. I mean, Caden was really good last year. Like every time, like there's a reason why we had the number one goal line defense in the country last year. Every time we got in the goal line, he was brought in and he completely stuffed everyone.
Yeah, definitely a really good goal line defense. But thankfully, against Michigan, we just had Will Howard throw a nice, really almost pick six that got us right back into the red zone.
Yeah, both teams.
Then we got
both teams' quarterbacks were pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Defensive line, linebackers. I think I'm probably going to Ohio State with that one. And that a lot of that is
positions are really close.
It's close, but I'm probably going Ohio State. I know more about Ohio State's linebackers, but it's still that's up in the air. We don't know how. Excuse me. We're just not. I'm not sure how the Ohio State's linebackers are going to play. They're super athletic, but they seem to be a liability last year at times.
I don't know. That was a really good defense. I don't know. I mean, the interesting thing is like Arvell Reese is, we thought he might take over one of the starting jobs last year, but somehow he, didn't quite get to be an official starter, but he still played a lot. And then of course Sonny Styles is really good. I think, I could almost even go with a tie or a slight lead for Ohio State on this. Like I would give us a slight edge, but so many of these position groups are almost at even. That's why it's really interesting, the matchup. Like
the really the only one that
I would honestly
is the receivers, and for me the defensive line. But it's probably closer than I'm actually thinking. We'll see tomorrow.
I think the two biggest discrepancies are going to be offensive line and receivers, and I think Ohio State has the edge in both those.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to have good on good and bad on bad with the lines, which makes it interesting. It won't be lopsided at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is you just got to make sure that we have the depth to be able to stop the run, because if you look at last year, like for instance, watch that Texas game against Clemson, right? Clemson had a great offense, but they couldn't stop the run to save their life. I mean, it was like that all year, though. It wasn't just against Texas. All their big games, they got ran all over. And, just because you have athletic linebackers and athletic safeties, like we have some new guys in the secondary, and we have some new guys at linebacker, right? One new linebacker and a couple new safeties. So it'll be tricky to see how they are. I'm not worried at all about pass defense, but run defense is potentially an issue against a good running team. So I really hope they can do what they did last year against them running.
Yeah. And then one here, we are talking about the inexperienced coordinators. So what do you think about Brian Hartline? Is he just an offensive coordinator in name only, do you think? Is he actually calling plays? Because I'm hearing rumors that he's not. And it feels like this is a game Ryan Day is just going to call all the plays anyway.
I don't think so. I think that he's the offensive coordinator, but I think that he's definitely the biggest question mark. Him and Patricia are obviously, I would say I'd be more concerned about both of our coordinators than I am about any position group, just because we haven't seen it yet. Like it's easily the biggest concern, right?
Yeah. That's probably a big concern. Yeah, Antoine. Patricia, you're a Lions fan. than you've seen kind of up close and personal, like what Patricia did with the Lions. Wasn't great, but maybe he's just not a really great head coach, but he probably is maybe a really good coordinator. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was a great coordinator, obviously. He won a lot of Super Bowls.
Yeah, very true. Secondary, Texas or Ohio State? I'm probably going Ohio State just because
Yeah.
I know more about Ohio State.
I mean, they have a good secondary, but they lost their best corner, Thorpe Award winner.
Right.
Ohio State returns Caleb. We lost our nickelback and our other safety. So, it's a big drop off for both sides, to be honest. But like Ohio State has recruited better at defensive back than any other position, including receiver, the last 2 years. So, like our defensive back recruiting has been just unbelievable. So I'm really bullish on defensive back. I think it's
Maybe in
going to
the
be
future, but what about this game? They're just going to be rookies.
Yeah, I mean, I think Devin Sanchez is good enough. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually got some good playing time, even against Texas. He's been that good. I mean,
We'll see. I hope
I
to see him.
there's so much talent there at secondary. I'm just, if we have even an adequate run defense, I just don't see what they're going to do. Like this defense, it's going to be nasty. And most likely it's just going to come down to, which defenses are going to force the turnovers, just because both defenses are so good. And I think it's getting any points offensively is going to be really hard. So it's just going to be, who can actually force the turnovers.
Yeah. I'm excited for tomorrow. And I'm most excited because it's at big noon. The most hyped, the biggest opener of all time is big noon. How do you that's just absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how anyone let that happen. That has to be just money speaking totally. But the fact that Ohio State is in this game, the biggest one ever, and that it's big noon just like warms my heart. Like, I can't believe it. And it's awesome because I have something to watch at noon tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, it's nice to not have to wait all day. You can actually just get it out of the way, and then you can enjoy yourself the rest of the day if you win. Whereas, like, otherwise, you'd just be nervous all day long watching the other games. You can't even enjoy yourself.
All right, let's pick the winners. I'll go first. I'll let you go second because it's your team playing.
Right.
I'm back and forth. I go back and forth like probably up until tomorrow. I just need to see these two teams play because it's impossible to know. I keep leaning towards Arch Manning. He's better. Like, I don't know if you've seen him play or in any of his games that he actually started. He's got some freaking talent. Like, really, like, he is super talented. And I haven't seen Julian Sayin do it, but I know his recruiting ranking, but I haven't seen him do it yet. And I've seen a little bit more from Arch. But at the same time, he's got to go into the Horseshoe. I mean, that's a hard place to win. It really is. It's incredibly difficult. And then you've got Jeremiah Smith on top of that, who can basically just change the game. I mean, if he wasn't in that game, Jeremiah, I'd pick Texas hands down.
Don't forget Caleb Downs. He's pretty unbelievable too.
Really good defensive player, obviously, but he's not going to take over a game like Jeremiah.
He might. Like, know how many. Like, see, the thing that people don't realize is it's easy to see an offensive player when they make a touchdown.
I'm you people now.
Yeah, like how you don't always catch when someone is the last line of defense and you make a shoestring tackle. He made like 6 of those last year, and a couple of them were game winners, like against Texas even. So that game obviously was super close, and he had a shoestring tackle that would have been a touchdown on one of the plays.
Yeah,
I mean, he has so many of those where
he was the last line of defense.
Where it's not just making a good tackle, but making a tackle where no one was behind him. I mean, he runs all the way across the field to make amazing plays so many times that he is calling the defense basically. I mean, just I'm just watching people who know a lot more about football than me analyze just his play and how amazing he is at his position. It's just, as much hype as he gets, he still doesn't get as much hype as he probably deserves. And I did want to address one other comment. I think, who was it? Was it Antoine or someone else who was saying all of our best players were transfers last year? Transfers were important, but I wouldn't say they were the best. So most of our defensive line, none of those guys were transfers. Our our quarterback was a transfer, our safety was a transfer, our center was a transfer, but he got hurt before the playoffs. Our left tackle got hurt, and he only played like 6 games. One of our corners, Igbinosun, was a transfer. That was 2 years ago. I don't know how long you have to be on a team before you stop becoming a transfer, but we had plenty of guys. Like the majority of our money was spent on retaining our recruits instead of letting them go pro. So, to win now, you have to do both. You have to keep your recruits and you have to supplement with other people. And, if Nick Saban didn't happen to retire last year, we wouldn't have won a national title. Like, he is the reason why we won a title. Like, if we didn't have those guys, if he didn't retire, those guys wouldn't have transferred and we wouldn't have won. Like, it's just, sometimes you have to get lucky too.
Yeah, that is some lucky transfers. I mean, my gosh, it's a lot of money Ohio State paid, but not a whole lot.
Those guys wouldn't have transferred had he not retired. So, like, that's just pure luck.
Very true. Very true. Where are we? We were talking about my pick.
Yeah,
because I'm going back and forth because I think Texas probably has a slightly better team at this point. A lot less thrash with their coordinators, but they got to go to Ohio State, and Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith. The only question is, is that defense, Texas defense, going to let Julian Sayin get the ball to Jeremiah Smith? Because they stopped him from getting the ball last year. I don't think they'll do it again this year, but
yeah, not without their stud.
I think
award winner.
I think Ohio State's offensive line is going to give him just enough time to get some arm punts out of there. And if he doesn't have a noodle arm, like I'm kind of
he doesn't
giving him, I think his arm's not total noodle. So I think he'll be able to arm punt some balls up to Jeremiah, and I think that might.
He was the number 1 recruit in his class. He's not an arm. He doesn't have a noodle for an arm.
He probably doesn't, but he presents as a
generally
arm.
The number 1 quarterback in their class has a slightly better than noodle arm. We can give him that.
You shouldn't look like Opie and be named the number 1 quarterback in a recruiting class. That should be he should be number 2. Is he even number 1 in his class?
He should probably grow a beard and get a beer gut, and
he needs to patch a beard, some hair. I doubt he can grow hair on his face. He needs to patch something on, like have AI do something to him during the game.
Yeah, we'll see what everyone thinks after the game. Before,
I'm going to pick Ohio State. By the way, I'm picking Ohio State.
Wow,
I don't feel good about it, but
yeah, I was last time. Previously, I was picking Texas for most of the offseason. I'm only picking Ohio State now just because of I just don't think that the Texas O-line is going to be able to, with the injuries and everything. I'm a little. I still think that they are going to have quite enough, especially so you have like Arch has only had, like, I know he's been in the system a while, and he's had 2.5 starts basically from injury. He has not played that much.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Antoine's right. Like the offensive line. So when is the most important time to have a good offensive line? When you're in a hostile environment against the number 2 team in the country, maybe important to have a good line in those circumstances, and having low on depth in their left tackle with a club on their hand, like that's going to be tough. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be a low scoring win for Ohio State. I initially didn't think they were going to be able to, but I think that it's going to be a close one. I think they're going to win.
I don't even know why I'm picking Ohio State, because I can't explain why I think they're going to win other than their offensive line. I have multiple reasons why I think Texas would win, but because of Arch, because of their running backs, because of their defensive line, because
I think the other reason you could say they're also
or
historically kind of like Penn State too. Like they don't usually win big games. Right?
Yeah, and this is a no-win situation for me either, because I don't want the SEC to win that game. It's going to be awful if Texas wins that game. Seriously, will. The SEC will, and Texas will be hyped up for the rest of the year, basically. And it's going to suck if Ohio State is too, because then I've got to deal with you and like beating the number 1 team in the country.
Yep.
And everyone, all my neighbors, basically. This is no win situation for me. This is just bad that it happened. The only good thing is that it happened on Big Noon. That's the only saving grace, is that it's on Big Noon.
Yeah,
awesome. Who are you picking? Did you even give a pick?
I didn't give a score. I said Ohio State is going to win a close one. I think it's going to be like, I don't know,
low scoring.
Yeah, let's see, 17-13 or something stupid.
It's going to be higher than that. Maybe not.
Those defenses are nasty, I'm telling you.
17-13. I'll go 21-17 Ohio State, because I still don't know if they can make a field goal. I'm gonna have to see that too.
That's probably the smart pick.
All right, awesome show. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone in the chat. Matt, good luck to your team tomorrow. I'm just saying that to be courteous. I don't actually mean that, but I just hope we get to have a good game tomorrow, and an awesome game tomorrow. I know we get to see Michigan and Bryce Underwood play.
We didn't even talk about your game.
No,
who are you guys playing?
New Mexico something State.
Is there even a spread on that game?
Mm-hmm. Michigan has like a 35-point.
What time do you guys play?
It's a night game.
Oh my God! You guys get a night game for New Mexico State?
We got a night game for New Mexico State, but
everything that's wrong.
We get big
everything
noon
that's wrong with the sport. Oh my God!
Oh, doesn't that make you feel good?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everyone. Jumping off here. Go Blue.
Go Bucks.